online are pretty brutal. You know, if they don't like something, they will write and make sure they write like 5 times about it saying, do not buy this. I think reviews can be trusted to a great extent. So for me, real people talking about the stuff that they bought, you know, a face wash or a lip balm or a shampoo, whatever. I think people really go out there, make the effort and write things to help or maybe just to vent. I don't know. But it helps. You can I think you can sift through a lot of stuff.
I'll ask you a very personal question.
Please go for it.
More essentially to me, see, I have a dry skin. Okay? When I go and shop online, one of the aspects that I see is that a lot of people who may be reviewing items may not have the same level of dryness as me.
Correct.
Okay, how do I address that? I mean, when you look at product, is there a way to figure out, you know, this is my skin tone, this is my... So how do you essentially figure out what is the right product for you?
Sir, जब तक कुछ taste नहीं करोगे, कुछ smell नहीं करोगे, how will you ever know? That's what I started with. You never judge a book by its cover. Unfortunately, that is the one weakness that we face in online shopping. The only way to do is, now there's so much of flexibility that websites offer you. You can buy, you can return, you can exchange, you can try. There are small quantities. It's not like you have to buy a 100 ml bottle for everything. So you must try. Every person is unique and nothing is gonna work for everybody. So to me, honestly, when you have dry skin, I may have dry skin, the other person may have very dry skin. The three of us will never ever work with the same product. So unfortunately for me personally, if you ask, it has to be a trial and error, nothing else.
Understood. And I think one of the aspects that actually technology does well is to get you that particular information. Absolutely right. So in the subsequent sections, you will also hear about a product that we have built that actually addresses that specific part.
Yeah.
All right. So again, thank you very much. I know I have a lot more questions than this, and I'm sure people here also have a lot of questions. But first of all, thanks a lot for coming in. Thanks for being so insightful here.
Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you guys. I will now go and do some actual shopping. I will go and do some window shopping. But thank you so much, guys. Have a great time, shop a lot, you're in good hands. Sir, your dry skin, don't worry, Flipkart hai now.
Thank you. So for actually opening of the event, I would like to invite Kanchan.
To check. Well, Parineeti, you have to actually just announce that we are finally live. So go ahead, yes.
We need your opening.
Yes, we need your enthusiasm and your spirit to go ahead and say that the Flipkart Glam event is now live.
Oh really? Let's do it together. Come sir. For all types of skin. Alright, we officially announced the Glamour Fest is now live.
Let's have a huge round of applause. Thank you.
Have fun everyone. Good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Parineeti. Well, guys, let's give that a huge round of applause. And I have to tell you that I think that Parineeti taught me a thing or two is because unlike...
Thank you so much, Ravi, for bringing this product for us. I think it's going to help us build the right skincare recommendation for consumers. And Crystal, I understand that you've tried this. Can you help us understand how did you find, did you find useful, what was it?
Okay, this is a blessing in disguise because like I said, I have tried out so many products to find that one product, and this was so simple. I literally had to keep the camera, they focused from forehead to chin, and found the products that I need for my routine. And when I went on it, I'm like, you know, there is for my pores, there's a section, there's something that I want to target on, like my fine lines, there's a section, for pigmentation, there's a section. So there's a section for everything. It's what you want to work on. And I chose the things that I wanted to work on, and I got all of those products, like you can see. I did choose what I like out of it, put it to my cart, and it's almost reaching home.
Awesome, great. Thanks for that, Crystal. That really helps. I would encourage rest of the people also here to try it. Right now, it's live in Experience Zone as well as on the app. Please try it, look at the regime, and buy the best product for yourself. Thanks so much. Thanks. Thanks, Crystal, for coming.
Thank you, Nishant. I honestly am having a great time at Glam Up, and you guys must check out everything. It's amazing.
Great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much, Nishant. And
Inspiration, aspiration, education. And hence, we are looking at the new era of e-commerce where content becomes very important. We have a very esteemed set of panelists with us here today. My first question to you, Sukhli. Good Glam Group is unique in having brands as well as content platforms under one umbrella. What role do you see content platforms and content commerce play in building brands?
I think today, if you look at everyone around us, all of us are making purchase decisions either by choosing a product that we read about or by selecting a product that we try based on our e-com purchase. So if digital is becoming ubiquitous, it's impossible to make a choice for a brand without having an authentic recommendation, which is where the role of influencers come in. Influencers give you their unbiased perspective, their own experience of the product. They make the product story come alive to you. So for brands, that authentic conversation comes alive with the influencers. So creator world becomes highly relevant. The second important pivoting leg is content. Now, content is not what brands want to say. Content is what viewers want to read. And in that realm, when people are putting out their stories, if brands can be woven in, that's a very organic way of seeding a brand. So for us as a company, our vision is very straightforward. How do we actually create a very authentic consumer journey where we can marry content, creator and commerce? And the fourth vertical that we've just recently launched is communities, where we can also give consumers a chance to experience the products through very intimate relationships in offline settings. So it could be either on offline or via WhatsApp, but get a deeper engagement with consumers one-to-one. So in that context, it becomes extremely pivotal, especially for brands that are born on digital.
Thank you for that. And you're right. In Flipkart's small journey of live commerces and influencer-led commerce that we've done, we have seen over millions of customers engaging. A lot of them coming in from Tier 2 plus, largely seeking the trust and the connect that you're talking about. Meghna, you're an influencer in your own right. Given your experiences, how do you see content commerce evolving globally? And how do you see India catching up to the trends, or does India behave uniquely?
Firstly, I think the influencer tag goes to someone else here. I'm only busy working with influencers and learning from them. But on that note, I think India, the one word I'll say is Reels. And I think we can't think of this entire ecosystem without Reels in it. And one very interesting fact to see that India is truly at the leading edge of trends is in the world of Meta, which is Facebook, Instagram. Reels was India was amongst the first countries where we launched Reels as a global company. Yeah, and today it's just taken it over completely. We see almost 24% of time increased where people spend time on Instagram since the launch of Reels. And even more importantly, when you connect it to commerce, in India, about 80% people say that they have seen a product on a reel and then engaged with that business. Almost 77% of them say they've bought something because they've actually seen a reel. And the other very cool thing is it's not just passive consumption of content. So on reels, engagement is very, very high. So just internationally, about 2 billion reels have been shared. And in India, about 97% of the people that we did a survey with say that they have themselves shared a reel. So I think that's a really, really nice part about content, where it's not just one way passive, I see it and that's it, but actually see it, experience it, and use it to make a purchase. And their creators have such an important role to play. So influencers, creators, we call them creators. And that's the other side to it, where India's on a fast path to be definitely the #1 country in terms of number of creators on Meta platforms. So I would say the number is almost like 100 million creators exist today in the country and very, very fast growing. So it's a beautiful synergy across that ecosystem.
Very interesting. 100 million creators. Wow. And you do see the impact. I mean, for a commerce platform like ours, Customers who engage with real content, for example, are a lot more engaged, a lot more high on retention, higher basket size, lower returns. Just the quality of customer goes up many folds because of the trust that they build. Bhuvan, 26 million subscribers on your channel, 70 million followers on Insta. Wow. Tips for brands and influencers here. How do you make engaging content? And how do you make content that's relevant? What do consumers look for?
First of all, a very good evening to all of you. यार कंटेंट एंगेजिंग कैसे बनता है? मैं आई गो विद दिस पर्सनल थिंग विच इज गट फीलिंग. आई एम श्योर यहाँ जितने भी लोग हैं उन्होंने अपनी लाइफ के मेजर डिसीजंस जो हैं, बड़े डिसीजंस हैं, वो गट से लिए अपने कि मेरा गट कहता है कि ऐसा होना चाहिए, वैसा होना चाहिए. When I started, I knew that if I want to penetrate the masses, if I want to enter each and every building of this country, I need to make my content relatable. ये relatable, I know एक बहुत ऐसा word है जो बहुत overuse हो गया है, हर कोई बोलता है कि relatable बनाना है. But मेरे साथ actually 8 साल पहले, अभी 5 दिन में 8 साल हो जाएंगे BB की वाइन्स को, और मैं यही सोचता हूँ कि why has it worked for me in these 7 years? It's because relatability. I know that I've seen people in my DMs, on mails, or when I meet them in person, they tell me कि वो जो समीर, बनछोड़दास और भुवन की जो बातें हो रही थी ना कल परसों की वीडियो में, वो हमारे साथ हो चुकी है. So that's why it's a responsibility on me that whatever I say, I have to make it relatable so that people feel okay, he's a part of us. And I feel similarly, thanks to the Man Company, हम लोगों ने जो भी किया है साथ में, आप पहली चीज़ तो ये है, आप किस तरह क्या कंटेंट लोगों को दिखाते हो वो तो एक बात है, लेकिन आप किस तरह उसको प्लेटर पे सर्व करते हो, इट्स अ आर्ट इन इटसेल्फ. एंड आई थिंक द मैन कंपनी हैज प्लेड अ रियली गुड पार्ट इन दैट, क्योंकि लोगों को इतना एक्सेसिबल फील होता है. मैं अगर अपने केस में बोलूँ तो बहुत ही ज़्यादा एक्सेसिबल फील है कि हाँ ये एक प्रीमियम प्रोडक्ट भी है, लेकिन जिस तरह प्रमोशन किया गया है, जिस तरह लोगों तक एक बात पहुंचाई गई है, वो बहुत हर महीने में रिलेटेबल है. एंड आई थिंक इट हैज़ वर्कड रियली वेल फॉर द मैन कंपनी एंड मी एज वेल.
Thank you on that. I will not stand a lot between the rest of the event. Just closing remarks from all of you, and we'll take turns. How do you see the role of content commerce, content platform, commerce platforms and influencers evolving in the era that India is entering in terms of retail and commerce?
So I think when you think of content, you definitely think of platforms like Meta, because for all influencers and creators, that's the home. It allows them to really reach and engage their audiences. Yeah, all the stats that Bhuvan has, fantastic stats. So I think we see ourselves the place where you can place the content. It's where you're able to engage and reach those audiences. And we want to enable and help folks like brands like My Glam, marketplaces like Flipkart, to be that place where you're able to connect both those things. Fantastic content from creators, and you folks can do the commerce. And we are just that enabler, bringing everyone together. I think that's the big role we play. The other thing we see is that to play with this medium, just aapne bola tha you want to make content relatable, I think it's that same space that how do we take it to brands, and how do you bring the right messages to consumers. So we've actually created this program called Made on Reels, and we publicize that program and use that to bring both these ecosystems together, which is the creators and the brands, so that it's a journey that we are all learning every day all the time. We also work with really small creators, and almost 500,000 creators across the country are on a program with us, where we keep telling them and teaching them the tips and tricks. And similarly take the voices of brands like yourself to them in terms of saying how can we do more of this and how can we do it better. So that's the role that we want to see ourselves play in content and commerce and bridging that.
Okay.
I think if I look at the larger ecosystem, I think one of the things which Bhuvan said is very correct, which is people want to hear the real story. You know, beyond a point, nobody wants to be just told brands preaching. They want to hear from real people, their real experiences. So I think in times to come, for sure, creator economy will thrive. And I think if you look at a country like ours, India loves brands. We love buying everything that is branded. So in that context, brands and new brands will thrive even more. I mean, if you look at the young people around yourself, nobody wants to wear the brands their moms were wearing. So clearly, brands are here to stay. And if you look at the content platforms on the other side, now those are platforms which are not pushing an agenda. They have a very loyal audience who likes reading their content which is relatable for them. So if you look at content on a Scoop Hoop, it's all the funky men who want to read about stuff which is specific to men and their kind of conversations. Parenting portals, women's lifestyle portals. So fundamentally it's fostering people to come together and share views and influence each other in a non-branded, non-manufacturer way. So I think in that context, this economy is going to thrive. The important thing really is to do it in a manner that is subtle. Because the moment you become too overt and you really start pushing your agenda, people see through it. And they see through bullshit very fast. So I think in that regard, we just also have to be mindful to do it in a manner that you respect consumers and respect their privacy.
I agree with you. मतलब गए वो दिन जब पेड एडवर्टाइजमेंट से कुछ ज़्यादा खास फर्क पड़ता था. अभी तो आई फील कितना ऑर्गेनिक हो गया. मेरे को याद है अभी मैं लास्ट वीक बाथरूम टाल ले रहा था और कभी नहीं ऑनलाइन मैंने ऐसी चीज़ें ली. हमेशा आप जाके फैब्रिक चेक करते हो तो सबसे पहले नेचुरली क्या करेगा आदमी. मैं गया, मैंने पहले रिव्यूज़ देखे. मैं फ्लिपकार्ट पे जाके मैंने रिव्यूज़ पढ़े और रिव्यूज़ में वो टावल के बारे में लिखा था कि हाँ जी इसका फैब्रिक ऐसा है, ये पहले वॉश के बाद ऐसा हो जाता है. सो यू बिलीव इन दैट क्योंकि आपको पता है कि आप जैसा कोई स्क्रीन के उस तरफ कहीं कंट्री में बैठा है जिसने बोला है हाँ ये लेना चाहिए. सो आई फील उसको ऑर्गेनिक बनाना जैसा आपने बोला इट्स सो इम्पॉर्टेंट. मैं अगर अपना एग्जांपल दूं तो आई वाज ऑनर्ड दैट द मैन कंपनी के साथ वी लॉन्च्ड आवर सिग्नेचर सीरीज लिमिटलेस एंड इनफाइनाइट. और हमने यही म्यूचुअली डिस्कस किया कि इसको बेचेंगे नहीं, बोलेंगे नहीं कि ये ले लो, ये बढ़िया है, ये ऐसा है वैसा है. मैं क्या करता हूँ, मेरे को मज़ा आता है. इंस्टाग्राम पे मैं लाइव जाता हूँ और मैं जो भी कॉलर सबसे पहले आएगा मैं उसको लाइव अपने साथ ले लेता हूँ. एंड देन वो स्प्लिट विंडो नहीं होता जिसमें यू कैन टॉक टू देम. सो दैट वर्कड अ लॉट फॉर अस क्योंकि उसके अंदर मैंने उनको समझाया कि लुक दिस हैज़ वर्कड रियली वेल फॉर मी. मतलब अगर तुम बोलोगे तो मैं भिजवा दूंगा. अगर तुम इसको यूज़ करोगे तो प्रॉमिस करो कि आगे तुम 10 लोगों को बोलोगे कि ये इट वर्क्स. सो आई फील दिस इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ये अब समझ गए ना हम लोग भी कि क्या बोलने में क्या लेना चाहिए. और जब तक आपके पास फर्स्ट हैंड एविडेंस नहीं है किसी और का बोला हुआ कि ये रिव्यू इसका अच्छा है खराब है, आई थिंक हम लोग इतना ईजी डिसीजन लेते नहीं. सो आई थिंक वो ऑर्गेनिक रहना हर चीज़ अब तो नीडलेस है ये बोलना, बट इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
You are so right. On Flipkart as well, we see the power of user-generated content is huge. Over 80% of our sales actually happen of products that are rated very, very highly by our users. And that is what customers relate to. And I echo what all of you have said really. Content commerce is here to stay. When platforms like Meta, brands like Glam and influencers like Bhuvan come together with Flipkart, we have seen magic happen. In an hour, we've seen sales spike by 30 times over, and that's when all of us are just starting to scratch the surface. So, kudos to all the influencers out here, and the journey for all of us has just begun. I'm sure that we have a lot of excitement ahead of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for them. And I have to tell you, there's a big takeaway for me myself. I think Bhuvan Mom and all our panelists have spoken about how to be creative, how to be relatable, and more importantly, gone are the days when you really push your content. Is because people out there are very, very smart. I have been a part of that selfie already. Come on, let's give them a round of applause. I'm sure there were a lot of takeaways for all of us. Thank you ladies. Thank you Bhuvan.